All righty. Good afternoon for most of you anyway. Some of you on the West Coast, it might be morning still, so good morning to you. We are excited to be joining you today. My name is Analeisa Latham. I am with MAPS Coaching and the ISA Inside Sales Agent Group Coaching Program. And I am so excited to bring to you today Kevin Kern from the Summit, New Jersey Market Center. And Kevin specifically lives in Maplewood, New Jersey. So before we get started today, I want Kevin to introduce himself, tell you a little bit about him and why he is here with me today. So Kevin, take it away.
All right. Well, I am Analeisa's star pupil. I would not be anywhere without her, so I just want to start with that. I am in the I've been in real estate for about a year, so you might be thinking, what do I have to teach you? Before this, I was an actor. I've been in 6 Broadway shows and a show on the West End. Got to a point in my life where I wanted to try something different. Ended up having a conversation that sort of changed my life. Having a conversation with my now team leader, Vanessa Pollock, who a lot of you probably know because she's sort of a superstar in Keller Williams. I knew her husband because he was also an actor, and I've known Vanessa for years and years. And she was like, well, look, if you're going to try something else, like maybe real estate might be something that you might be interested in. And so, through the next year of, again, training with Analeisa, trying to figure out exactly where I fit on the team that I'm on. So here I am. And this is, now I'm teaching you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I failed to mention at the beginning, today we are talking all about circle prospecting, something that I'm passionate about. I know through my coaching with Kevin, he has become extremely passionate about. And honestly, everybody who's on this call should be passionate about this if you are in any kind of sales business, so especially real estate sales, circle prospecting. And, as we go into a shifting market, I was thinking about this right before we jumped on. Lead generation, lead conversion are the most important things you can be doing with your time every single day. And that is what we are talking about today. So super excited you joined us for this. Like I said at the beginning, my name's Analeisa. I am from Greenville, South Carolina, and the Haro Group. I started in real estate in 2014, and here we are 5 years later. I coach now in the Inside Sales Agent Coaching Program. Again, super passionate about the topic today, so we are going to jump right in. Kevin, I just want you to take a few minutes, talk to us about what was it that led you to see the importance of circle prospecting, especially circle prospecting for listings?
Well, I was thinking about it. It was sort of, it was like most things in life, it doesn't just all happen overnight. And so there were different steps that sort of led to this. So first, what I was doing on the team was really calling old unqualifieds and going down that. And then as Vanessa and I would talk, we would try to figure out, what's the best use of my time. And so we then were looking into pay-per-clicks and all this kind of stuff. But through it all, there was time. There was more time for me to be able to really dig into something. And so I had talked to her. I talked to you about circle prospecting and trying to figure out exactly what could happen. And so we started with just calling around when we had a listing and just inviting people to open houses. And honestly, not that I found that boring necessarily, but it was when I'm trying to set appointments, there wasn't a lot of action, and there wasn't a lot of something that I could really sink my teeth into that I thought. And of course, Analeisa was constantly saying, that's not right, Kevin. You've got to think you're always trying to set appointments. But my script at the time was just, hey, I'm calling around about this open house and this is what it is. So then the next step with circle prospecting is that I found this script, and it was really not it was a listing, not when I was doing for the open houses, but after we had sold something. And I found this great script that was so easy and so simple, which was basically just, hey, this is Kevin Kern. I'm calling around. We just sold a bunch of places near you, which we had. We have buyers looking to buy in your area, and we're just seeing if you're looking to sell in the near future. And the best thing about it is it was quick. The people could say, I'm not interested. And then you didn't have to really spend a whole lot of time with them, because then you could say, well, thanks so much. Have a wonderful night. But then because then you can go, get on to the next person. Because I think the biggest thing with circle prospecting is that you're calling somebody out of the blue. You can get literally 1,500 call. I mean, around where we are, it's so dense and there's so many people to call. So you are sort of trying to find a needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
So then ultimately what happened was, the more that, Vanessa is known for care, serve, give. And it's something that is something that she is really kind of gifted to Keller Williams. And you can look that up and really become a part of that. But it's really, over the year that I've been there, I have completely bought into it and really drunk the Kool-Aid. And so everything we've done now and everything we do now is about service and about trying to serve our clients, not sell to them. And so one of the things that we're doing now, which has made circle prospecting so easy, is that now what I do is I call around for an open house. And we have partnered with an organization called Mend, which is a food bank, basically, in our area. And they have a big green bus that they call the green bean, and they bring it to different places. And, people bring canned foods. And so what we do is we get the green bean to show up at one of our listings. And then I can call around and say, hey, this is Kevin Kern, and I'm calling around the neighborhood because we're partnering with Mend, and we would love to have you as a neighbor come by to this amazing house. You'd really like to see this house, but more than that, we're kind of giving you a get out of jail free card as a neighbor, and we'd love for you to come and bring some canned foods and non-perishables from Mend. And so all of a sudden, instead of me kind of bothering somebody out of the blue and saying, hey, we want to sell you a house. And, we say, hey, look, we're offering you the chance to help your neighbors and to do something that really resonates, I think, with a lot of people. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to get to know somebody eventually, and hopefully work with them and show them that this is the place of giving that we go from. And it's not an act. And what makes it so great is that if you buy into it, as I have and as our whole team has, it really comes from the heart, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I love that. And here's the thing. Maybe you guys don't have a green bean?
A green bean. Yeah.
You don't out there, you don't have a green bean that you can bring to your open houses. But what Kevin is saying, the gist of it, the bigger picture here, is that he removed the pressure from himself to sell somebody something. And he put himself in the mindset of helping someone, right? So you don't have a green bean, that's okay. Somebody out there needs your help because they need an expert who's going to buy or help them buy a house or sell a house. And the fact that you're engaged in something like this means you want to learn, which puts you far and above many other people out there as an expert. So taking away the pressure from I have to sell and I have something to give, I want to serve you in some way, is really the bigger picture from what Kevin is saying here. Which,
absolutely.
I mean, tell me, Kevin, you've already alluded to it, but that changed your whole mindset around circle prospecting when you could key into something like that. Am I right?
Absolutely changed my mindset. And look, a lot of what I've been doing is, and I joke about, I went down recently and I taught a class, and I joked with Analeisa because I was like, Analeisa, it's been a year and I'm already teaching an ISA class. Do you believe it? But it's, the thing is that I have a lot to offer, and I'm sure a lot of people on this call have a lot to offer from the years of being in another job, maybe, or just your experience raising kids, or your experience outside of work, but or the fact that you're youthful and energetic and ready to go. And so the thing that I'm starting to draw on is that when I was an actor, where I finally got to with going into auditions, which all this is just a constant day of auditions for me, circle prospecting, is that I finally realized, hey, you have a lot to offer, and you're not coming in there to try to get a job, which is, again, sales. What you're going into there to say is, guys, I'm the answer to what you were looking for. I'm here to now help you get to this, fill this slot in this show that you were looking to fill.
Mm.
Now, if you say that, the thing that you have to do before that is prepare.
Mm.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that to learn from, what I'm doing is that I think you've got to come from a place of service for sure. But the preparation, and this is what you really hound me about all the time, is preparing what your script is going to be, preparing how you can serve them, really understanding what your team can do, because I'm a huge fan of my team. And if part of, I think, being a huge fan of my team is I really have gotten to know all of the agents. I really know how they tick, how each of them can serve clients in different ways. And I think that's a way you can prepare, is to, really know your market center, really know what you're selling, really be an expert, really know your team. And, I'm so excited about my team. So I would hope that you would be excited about your team as well.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then, maybe I don't want to tell you to look for another team, but try to figure out a way to make your team even better.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Get excited. Find a way to get excited. I love it. I love it. So Kevin, I just want to throw this in there real quickly before we continue. Kevin is referencing the fact that I coach him in the Inside Sales Agent Program. I want to give you a little way that you can find more out about this past today's call. I just put up a screen there that you can see about how to find out more about what our coaching program offers. So take down that info as we continue chatting today, and we'd love to connect with you outside of this call as well. All right, so Kevin, let me ask you this. What would you say if somebody came to you and they're like, circle prospecting, what is the point? What would you say to that?
I mean, the best thing about circle prospecting is that they are people that live in your neighborhood. So it's a place that, you're not trying to wait and get somebody off of Zillow, or somebody that's, off of your, that is looking for a house, which is great. Pay-per-clicks and all that kind of stuff, all the different ways you can find buyers. But the great thing about this is that you're already, hopefully, an expert in that area. And so there's something about when I call around, literally like a street over from where I am, half the people I'm talking to, I say, oh, I've got 4 kids. One of them's at Clinton. Oh, one of them's at South Orange Middle School. Oh yeah, maybe we know each other from this and that. It just, again, it comes from a place of service, not sales. And you are an expert. Because you've just lived there, even if this is your first year in real estate. I've lived in this area for 15 years. So, it does give me that boost right off the bat. And the thing that's so great about it, like I said, it's endless. There's an endless amount, at least out here. And I'm from Kentucky, and it's a smaller area, but still, there's a ton of people. And so you'll never run out of people to call. You'll never have the excuse, oh, well, I don't have any leads. And, here's a quick story. Another thing that we do is sometimes we have, right now we're working with a builder who just built a house. And so we have like a friends and neighbors open house, like a special time for the neighbors, which you can do for any open house. Is just have like a special hour at the beginning for the neighbors, which is another great thing to be offering them, and that I called around and I talked to 400 people in this one neighborhood. I didn't talk to 400, but, I called all these people and left all these messages and stuff. And it was one of the last people that I called that night, and was just saying, hey, we're just having this special open house for neighbors. And he said, well, we're maybe looking to sell soon. And, and then that gave me this great opportunity to say, well, why don't you come to the open house and you can meet our agent and see how we do all this. And let me text you all these different things. And we make short films for all of our luxury properties. And, it gave me all these opportunities. And so I never would have had that opportunity if I hadn't called them out of the blue. And not to say that they're all really nice. And I've been cursed out pretty much every day that I call around, because you are calling people out of the blue. Yeah. And they didn't call you, and they were never on your website, and they never clicked on a Zillow lead. You know what I mean? Like, you called them out of the blue. So I'm always conscious of that. But at the same time, they own a house. And so who knows what they're looking to do. And it's like, I think of it like being in a giant room and you saying, if you're looking to sell your house, raise your hand, and then you're like, oh my gosh, there's 5 people in this 1,000-seat auditorium that raised their hand. Like, there's 5 people, and I never would have known unless I asked.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about that for a minute. You and I have had this ongoing conversation in our coaching about the difference between going into phone calls with the mindset of setting an appointment versus getting to nurture. So, all bars off right now. Like, talk to me about how that works, because your pipeline's pretty full, right?
Right.
You also know that every day that you circle prospect, you don't necessarily set an appointment. So what's the mindset, and how are you going into these calls with that?
Yeah. I mean, as we talk about, the one thing in terms of goals, the one thing I know that I can do is make calls, so I don't know how many contacts I can make, especially when circle prospecting, because, I get all these numbers, and we'll talk about this later, but with the cold directory, and then I put them on a dialer and all that kind of stuff. But still, it's an inexact science. And sometimes I get a lot of wrong numbers and all that kind of stuff. So, but I know that I can call a bunch of people. What I'm trying to do is set an appointment. That is the end result for all ISAs, is that, that's our bread and butter, is that we want to set appointments. We then get a percentage of that, or what, however this is set up, going forward. And once they close, that's how you make money and feed your children. So, it's like, I'm trying to do that. But with the circle prospecting, and Vanessa and I talk about this a lot, and I think that this is an important thing to make sure you're talking to your team leaders or your group leaders, is that I do a lot of things that could pay off in the moment. But a lot of this circle prospecting, especially the stuff where I'm calling people and I'm saying, are you looking to sell in the near future? And I have a long pipeline of people that have said, yeah, maybe in the next couple years. Great. So, now we've got people for 2020 and 2021 and 22. Now it's a long game, and then I follow up with those people every few months and check in with them, and, but that's what it is going to be. It's not going to be, an appointment set today. Now, as you're always telling me, and I will get into this more and more, that everybody needs to be coaching. Everybody needs to be coaching. The thing that Vanessa did from the beginning was realize what a value you guys are. And so I will continue to say that, because that is not a sales. You have definitely served me. So thank you. But one of the things that you're constantly telling me is, don't go into this thinking like, oh, I'm just telling people about an open house. Be thinking all the time, maybe this person is somebody that, again, I can help. And by helping, I can set an appointment, And so, some of these people we're going to help in 2022. But the fact that I'm now making this pipeline, it is going to pay giant dividends in 2 years. And then at that point, the sky's the limit, because now I've got these two from now until then, I will have set even more and more people into the pipeline. So it's definitely a 5-year plan, as opposed to something that can happen right now.
Yeah, I love that too. I remember so many times we would hang up the phone call, and the one thing that would resonate for me from our time together is Kevin telling me, I'm playing the long game, Analeisa.
Yeah.
And that's true. And it's very important to recognize, when you specifically are circle prospecting, that is a majority of what you're doing. You're going to find people who want to come and meet with you tomorrow. That's going to happen. And also, you are playing the long game. And I love that you have been able to grasp that and keep that kind of in the forefront of your mind. So let's shift gears here, getting some specific questions about tools that we're using. So talk to me, Kevin, where do you find all these phone numbers? Where are they coming from?
Well, the first thing is the Cole directory. Okay. So it's I can't remember what it's called. It's the Cole Realist. Yes, Realty exactly.
Resource. So COLE, Cole.
Yes, COLE, Cole. I put this thing down. My team is watching me, and they said, you're making a noise. Your thing is hitting your zipper. So I'm putting my zipper down.
I love it.
I love my team. They're the greatest. Anyway, so the one thing that I use is the Coal Directory. And long story short, we used to be getting that from our market center. You'd be able to do that through your market center, but we recently just bought that as a team. It's about $1,000 a year. It's not super cheap, but maybe you could figure that out with another team or whatever. And what I do is you enter in the address of where you're going to circle prospect around. Mm-hmm. And let's say it's 423 Center Street is a place that's nearby, or one of our listings. And so quite literally I can draw a circle on the website around the area where I'm circle prospecting, or even better, I can take the map and kind of go, okay, I want to go because I know that side of this street's like another town or something. So I want to say, okay, this place to this place, and then over here, and then this weird triangle of, so I can make like a real square or, hexagon or something of exactly where I want to circle prospect. Most of the time it then says, you've got 18,000 phone numbers and we can only download 1,500. So then I go, okay, make that smaller and figure it out. And so once I get all of those, the section, then what I do is I download that group of numbers into what's called a CSV file. I don't know what that stands for.
You just pick it from a drop down. Right?
Values in there, I think, one of the words. Yeah. And so I take that and I download that onto my computer, and then I go on to my next phase of my next tool, which is called Mojo Cells.
Okay.
And it's a speed dialer. And what happens with that is that you load a bunch of numbers, and what invariably happens is I'll take a bunch of numbers from the Coal Directory, and let's say it's like 1,000 numbers or 1,000 leads or whatever, and I'll put it into Mojo, and it will figure out that a lot of those numbers, a lot of the leads didn't have numbers, and some of them were bad or something like that. So all of a sudden I've got like 600 numbers, let's say. So now I've got some numbers. Now I've got some people to call. And so I load, those are on Mojo now. And there's a way to, do it and make it, titles for different names and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So then once I start dialing, you have 3 lines at once. And I know that this scares some people. And so this is something that I will say about it is, just like all of this, it's not so scary. And it doesn't even go fast enough for me now. Mm-hmm. I felt at first like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so overwhelming. It's going to go so fast and I'm not going to be able to keep up. If 2 lines pick up at once, then it plays like a callback message, which for me is just dead air. So it almost sounds like you just didn't get connected. Mm-hmm. And so don't worry about it. You're not going to get so many contacts. I wish for you to get so many contacts that it's a problem. But the other great thing about Mojo is that you can make a voicemail, and then when you get when the voicemail machine comes on, someone's voicemail on their cell phone, all you have to do is just click a button, and then it puts your pre-recorded message on there, whatever it is that you're circle prospecting. Mm-hmm. That's great. And so this is where at the beginning, when I was quite literally, I was on Brivity, but I was, pushing buttons and calling each person individually. And I would say, Analeisa, like, how do people call like 100 people in a day? Like, man, I mean, my voice is tired. And I call people like for like 9 hours today and only got to like 78 people or something, which now looking back on it was like unbelievable that I called that many people like the way I was doing it. You can blow through with Mojo. You can blow through 200 dials in like a few hours, mm-hmm. Easily. Mm-hmm. And because you're quickly clicking through and oh, it's another message, drop a message. Oh, it's a fax machine, bad number and all that kind of stuff. So, but then, once I talk to people, then it comes up and it says John Smith at 1234 Prospect Street. And I always start off with, hi, is this Mr. Smith? Or hi, is this John? No, this is the wrong number. A lot of times that's what happens. And so, so I don't waste my time. That's how I started out. But, so then it goes and goes, and that's basically what it is. That's the meat of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So we're getting some questions about the difference between Mojo and Cole and who has better numbers and are they cell phones. Unfortunately, in our time today, we cannot cover all of that. So what I would encourage you to do, I'm going to see if it's on this. There's a website for inside sales agents called the ISA Mastermind Group. It's on Facebook. There's maybe 2 groups that are called that. Look for the one that's got about 3,000 people. Join that, and these questions about specifics of programs, how they work, are they cell phone numbers, those questions are really well answered in groups like that. So that's what I encourage you to do. I think Hannah has our moderators put in the link to the Facebook page. That is a great resource for those specifics questions. So Kevin, tell me this. Let's say you talk to John Smith, right? And he's like, yeah, maybe. I mean, I've kind of thought about selling my house. I don't have firm plans, but you understand, okay, he's not working with an agent. He's okay with you following up. Like, what happens after that? How do you, number one, cement the relationship? And then number 2, how do you remember to follow up with this guy?
Well, that's a great question. You ask such great questions, Analeisa. See, you're such a great coach. The best way that I have found to cement and I also think of this in some ways as targeted door knocking, is one of the things that I say to people to kind of put them over the top. And again, I call them out of the blue. So they might be kind of thinking about moving, but they're not really looking to have a conversation necessarily. So one of the great tools that I have found is to say, well, look, would it be okay if I swung by and just gave you some info? Oh, am I there? Sorry. Just getting a call. Sorry about that. Would it be okay? Am I back on? Oh, there we go.
You're back on. Yeah.
Would it be okay if I just came over to your house and gave you a packet of information about, listing information about our team? And I'll tell you what, if you're not there, I'll just drop it in your mailbox. Just to say, oh, look, I'm not coming over to like stalk your house and, look in your windows or something. But just, hey, you know what? That's all I'm asking. I know you're not looking right now, but we just want to be someone when you do start looking that you call. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking to cement some kind of relationship. We think we're so great that if you just give us a chance, we know that we'll do right by you. So that's a great thing to do. And so then what I would do then is get a pipeline of people, and I would get, maybe 6 or 7 people in a week that I contacted, that I said that I would be able to take the listing stuff over to. And then on a Saturday, we talked about this, what's a good day? And you said, maybe every Wednesday and every Saturday you time block that. And of course, I'm not great at time blocking stuff. And Analeisa yells at me about that all the time, and Vanessa, but I'm getting better at it. But that you time block a time that you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be in that area. I'm going to be dropping something off to somebody else on Saturday afternoon. I'm going to stop by. You know what? If you're there, I'm going to knock on the door and say hi. And if not, then no big deal. But I've knocked on doors and met some people and say, hey, it's me. I'm like a real person and not like a computer person, calling you like calls me all the time. And it's just, the other thing is about the listing material that I'm sending, that I'm giving them to, that Vanessa, sort of half jokingly talks about, is that we make it look so nice that they don't want to throw it away, so that they'll at least maybe put it in their junk drawer. So then well, it's just, I would hate to throw this beautiful, catalog away. So, at least I'll put his card in the, in the drawer. So, that's all we're hoping for. And then I again then follow up.
Okay.
And the first thing that I can do is if I left it in their mailbox, the easy thing is to say, hey, I just want you to know I left that in your mailbox. Just wanted to find out, did you get it? And do you have any questions? So again, that's all stuff that can happen right away, knowing that I'm just trying to kind of, again, solidify my relationship with this person. And I've on my, you were asking about tracking. I put everybody that is, that I talk to with that into Brivity, into our CRM, which I think people have Boomtown and Brivity and different things. I put them in there. So then randomly throughout the year, if we send mailers to people, or if we send chocolate bars at Valentine's Day and things like that, they're a part of that mailing. So just randomly they'll get all this stuff so that we continue to sort of chip away and keep our brand out there for them.
Okay.
But then I also have another thing, which is just a Google sheet where I've written down about who this person was, when they're looking to sell maybe, and so then 6 months from now, then I might give them a call and say, hey, I know you had still said 2021 maybe, but just checking in, just wanted to say hi, see how you're doing, if you had any style questions about if you're looking to update your bathroom. I know that one of our agents who love Pinterest and are obsessing over, all they want to do is just redo a bathroom. So, so let us know if we can help, just to keep checking in, and again, offering something to them and offering services.
Yeah. So a couple takeaways from what Kevin just said that we can recap. Someone asked, so it's kind of like a two-step process. Absolutely. So Kevin's making a good connection with them on the phone and then taking a step further. And for the Pollock team, that looks like them dropping off a packet of information that tells more about them. So then the question is, what's in the packet? And Kevin, maybe we can get your email address posted here. And if Vanessa's comfortable sharing that, we can, give some examples of that. Let's do that in just a minute here. But the second thing to remember is it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be a one pager. The thing is that we have to remember is not every real estate agent out there is going to be doing what we're talking about here. Out there circle prospecting, finding people who need our help. So it doesn't have to be big over the top to cement the relationship in their mind. It's about you making a quality connection of actually genuinely caring about somebody. And then maybe it's a drip email that you set them up on, or, maybe it's a one pager that you drop in their mailbox in another week or something. The point is you want to remember the follow-up. So many people are really good about making that initial contact and then they forget and never come back to it. So having, yes, the two-step is great. And I definitely recommend something along those lines, but it's the fortune's going to be in the follow-up that comes afterwards, after we move through this. So Kevin, real quick before we move on, we got an excellent question from Cheryl. What do you do when you get specific questions from these people we're circle prospecting to that are more appropriate for an agent? And how would you handle a situation like that?
Well, once again, like I said, I love my team so much, and I'm such a cheerleader for my team. And I tell people that. I'm very open about, everything's show business to me. So I always say, look, I'm like a talent agent for my team, and I've got the greatest talent to set you up with. And so in talking, the reason, what I do on the team, my job on the team is to figure out who best would be able to help you. And there's each member of my team, I think, has something different to give. Our team member Sherry has retired from one job and done this for a bunch of years and downsized a bunch of times. And so she's great at a person that I've talked to that said, yeah, well, my kids are, in college, and we're thinking about, the taxes are so high here. And so we're thinking about downsizing into a much smaller house or into a condo. And I say, and then it's my opportunity to say, well, I've only been in the, what I'm thinking is, I've only been in this business, for a year. Sorry, my thing was, I've only been in this business for a year, but Sherry's been in the business for 20 years, and she's done all of these things and helped all of these people through the years, and she can help you, and so you don't have to rely on me and my lack of expertise. I'm here to just tout my team and to just tell you how great they are, and help you connect with them. Yeah. So that's, for Cheryl, that's the thing, is that it's not about, it's another way that kind of takes the pressure off of you, that you can just say, look, I'm just the cheerleader for our team. And I'm the person that is really just trying to connect you with something, give you the gift of our team that I believe in so much. Yeah. So yeah.
I love that. I love that analogy of the talent. You're just the talent person. That's so great, especially knowing your background. It's awesome. Okay. So let's talk for a minute, and I know we talked about a little bit about follow-up. And it sounds like you utilize Brivity, you utilize a Google Sheet. You talked about somebody who's going to sell in 2021 and you follow up with them in 6 months. A lot of times I get questions of people like, how do you know when to follow up? And how do you know what to say? How would you answer that?
I have no idea. But honestly, the answer is how it works for you. And I think that I've had the opportunity, again, Vanessa's really great. You should really follow Vanessa on all of these platforms as well, because she's a real teacher as well. So, but she has definitely instilled in our team that we're learning based, and so the interesting thing that I have gotten from seeing all of these wildly talented people that we've gotten an opportunity either here in our market center or at one of the conventions, at Family Reunion and at the mega camp, is that they're all successful, but they're successful for different reasons, and they've done different things, and they all have different plans. And even the circle prospecting or even the follow-ups are different. And some people call for, they don't leave any messages. They call for the next 5 days. They just call all day long, just like pounding away at somebody until they make contact, and then they never call them again. And then some people, it's this long game of keeping them in their CRM and dripping to them, and again, sending, inviting them to events and doing all sorts of things. So there's no right way or wrong way. It's just how it works, I think, for your personality, for your market center, for the way that your team works. But I think that I'm a big fan of trying a lot of different things and seeing what works best. And then once you find something that works, sticking with it and not going for the shiny new coin, to stick with it and really do it for a pretty long time until you wait, until you maybe think, there's maybe a better way to do this.
Yeah. So takeaway I think from what Kevin was just saying is that there might not be the one right way. There's different personalities, there's different systems of belief, 7 to submit, 8 by 8, 36 touch, all of these acronyms that are out there. But the one thing I've really encouraged and feel like you've taken to heart is be systematic in it no matter what you're doing. Be systematic for you. We don't want people falling off. Like, you didn't have a 20-minute conversation and build a relationship only to turn around and forget about them in 6 months. And then see when you drive by their house tomorrow that they've listed with somebody else. That's not what we're doing here. We're in this for the long game. So being systematic about it, no matter your approach, is what we're talking about. So I love that for sure. So let's talk for a minute. Kevin, are you primarily targeting people that you guys have listings around? And if not, like, what else are you doing?
That's kind of a yes and answer. So, I mean, first of all, we've had a great beginning of the year. Again, just touting my team. We are our GCI. We were 35th in the country in the month of January.
Awesome.
Which is just crazy. And but not crazy because we're awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, because we've got such great coaches. Come on.
Yes.
How could we not be with you as our coach? But the thing is recently we have had a lot of listings, but there was a time in sort of like November to December where we had a lot of listings, but there were a lot of closings happening, and it was just sort of an in-between kind of time. There's a town, I live in Maplewood in South Orange, that's sort of like one town really because it shares a school district. But there's another town, West Orange, which is a little bit more, it's developing a little bit more now. You can get more for your money there. It's a great town still. But we had some listings there, but I would do some things, not even around the listings. I would do it more in a broader sense of, hey, we have entered into West Orange. We are really making headway here. We've sold a bunch of places here this year. So instead of it being, Mitchell Street right down the street from you, it was all of West Orange. We are becoming real experts, or we are experts in West Orange. So it was what I've heard from when I've talked about this with other agents, if you're new, if you're not with a team, if this is something that you're not an ISA and that you want to just kind of do the work of an ISA, which all agents should be doing all the time, is that you can talk about your own market center and say, listen, my market center at Keller Williams or wherever sells X amount of listings, a year or a month. We are the experts in this area. Are you looking, we've got buyers. Are you looking to sell soon? So, not to say that you're lying, because you're not, but we, as you know, it's a stack of all of the different places that we belong. We're realtors that belong to Keller Williams, and then we're on a team, and so, the market center and so forth. So there's a lot of things that you can draw from. And if you are new and you've never sold a house, it doesn't matter, because you can say, I am a part of Keller Williams. We are the number one company in the world, and we're the number one company in this area. We've got lots of buyers. When are you going to sell? So it gives you all of these different options. You don't have to have a listing.
Yeah. Good. Love that. So we can do just listed, we can do just sold, we can do open houses, and we can do just, hey, have you thought about selling your house?
Yeah.
I love that. So one thing that I hear pretty frequently is, Lisa, when I'm circle prospecting, there's people out there who don't want to talk to me, and it really gets to me. And you've even referenced this, like being cussed out. You're calling these people out of the blue. Like, what does it look like to have a mindset that overcomes that and dials the next number?
This is where I am an expert. So this is really what I've drawn from. I have, 20 years of being in musical theater. And like I said, I always start with, I've been in 6 Broadway shows and, all these kind of things. When you break it down, what I did for 20 years is I worked, those 6 Broadway shows amounted to about 12 years of work. There's another 8 years where I was out of work. I mean, that's the way of this business. And of course, I've got 4 kids. Somehow one of them is 17 and going to college now. They've all lived. Like, I've fed them enough to like make this happen somehow. And so I was always doing something, but it wasn't always in a Broadway show doing what I was really trying to do. And so you get really good in that business of, like I said, preparing, really trying to prepare and really trying to hone your craft, because it's the only way that when you walk into an audition room and especially as you get older and you get to know all these guys and you're sitting in this room around just the greatest group of guys, and you're all hoping that if you don't get the job, one of your good friends does, and all these guys and they're so super talented. And it's the same with being in your market center and looking around and thinking, gosh, all these people are so talented. All these people are doing stuff at such a high level, but so am I, and so how do I hone my craft to be able to get to this place where then I can call someone or I can go into an audition and again say, I am the answer to your question of where do we find someone for this role? And it's the same thing with this, is that the way to get better at not feeling terrible about someone yelling at you is to keep doing it, is to put in your 10,000 hours, which I come to this with 10 million hours of rejection. And, I have a PhD in rejection. And when people, I joke when people say, when I first came into this, and you would say, or, different people would say, now, Kevin, you're going to have to call you're going to get 50 no's before you get a yes. And I was sort of 50 to 1 odds. Those are great. And so, but that's the thing, is that, again, I'm sure that people can draw from things in their own life, but at the same time, it's just chipping away. And it's just, you're going to get better and better. And Tuesday is going to not be as good as Friday is going to be, because by Friday you will have put in 3 more days, and that's what it's going to be. And next year is going to be better. And the way that I think about it, it's not, don't be afraid to fail. It's embrace the fact that you are going to fail, and know that, and it's the failing forward and all of that, but it's true. And it's that, you've got to be fearless. You've got to know that, that you're going to fail. And the only way that you're going to feel better about it is to do it, and to be yelled at and feel terrible and angry and quit for the day. You know what I mean? And then the next day say, well, that was stupid. You know what I mean? I should have kept calling, and today it'll be better. And someone will yell at you the next day, and then you'll say, fine, I'll do another 50 calls and then I'll quit because now I'm in a bad mood. You know what I mean? And you'll get better and better at it.
Yeah, I love it. One thing that I do tell some of my coaching clients when they have a bad call or somebody's just mean to them, take a minute to take a breath, set a timer for 5 minutes and decide, I'm going to be mad about this for 5 minutes. And then when that timer is done, then you're done with it and you move on and you get back on the phone, because, you got to have the no's to get to the yeses, right? I mean, that's just part of what this business is, whether you're circle prospecting or trying to get, going on a listing appointment. You got to get the no's to find the yeses. So yeah, set that timer, be upset about it, but then determine there's a time for that to stop and get back on that horse and ride it again. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, this is a great one. What are some objections that you have come across when you've been circle prospecting? Maybe it's one of those people who wasn't very nice to you, and how did you? What was in it?
Oh. Well, I think she froze there for a second, but I'm gonna take what she was asking and keep going. So I think the biggest, as I said before,
objection.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think you froze for a second. Sorry about that. So the biggest objection, again, is always, well, we're not looking to sell. If I'm calling about that, I mean, that's one example, is if I'm calling to say, hey, are you looking to sell in the near future? Well, we're not looking to sell. And then I say, well, that's okay. We're not looking, this could be something, 10, 15 years from now. We're looking to really be in this for the long run and be experts for you. And again, be something that, if you're looking to redesign your kitchen, to have us be one of the people. So I'll tell you what, knowing that you're not even looking to sell in the near future, all I'm asking is it okay if I just drop something off in your mailbox? And then again, then you've started the ball rolling. And a lot of times they'll say no, and I try to, keep at it and keep them on the phone, as you've trained us and as all these webinars say. And sometimes they're just not into it. And again, I'm calling them out of the blue. They're not a FISBO that has a place. They're not a person that's a pay-per-click that went on your site and said they were looking for something. I've called them out of the blue. So I am easier on the circle prospecting. At a certain point I say, okay, great. Have a great day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get on to the next person,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the biggest objection I think that you're going to get. I mean, other than that, you know, when it comes to asking people to come to the neighbor open house, that is an objection handler in and of itself. The fact that I'm asking them to come bring canned foods, because
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest objections is when I'm calling and saying, hey, we want you to stop at this open house. Then I have to go through the whole thing of, well, we're not looking to buy that big house. You know, we're not looking for that. And I say, well, maybe you know somebody that is, and neighbors, you know, 50 or 75% of the time, people move in neighborhoods where they know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you might know somebody at work and they might be looking to buy out here. And we just like to get the neighbors involved, which is a great objection handler. But at the same time, if you're just saying, hey, just come by and give some canned foods and see this place, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Love it. Very good. Very good. Sandy, what's a realistic goal for the number of nurtures to get per hour, for instance, or for 3 hours? So just some numbers that we have found in the ISA world. If you're operating at a medium efficiency, we're looking for anywhere from 5 to 7 contacts in an hour. When you're circle prospecting, a good rule of thumb is 20 contacts is going to lead to 1 solid nurture. So hopefully that gives you some idea of specific numbers that we're talking about. And here's the thing. You'll get a list from Cole or wherever you're getting it from, and it's not going to be good. And it happens, right? It's going to happen. We're looking for about a 5% pickup rate. Through the list that you're calling. If you're getting anything lower, then maybe you need to look at your data source. But those hopefully are some helpful stats there for you, Sandy. I hope that answers your question there. All right, Kevin, we have just a couple minutes left. I'm curious how you'll answer this question. If somebody were to call you after this webinar and say, Kevin, that was awesome, what do I need to do today to get started on this? What would the answer be?
Like I just said, start. I mean, it would take, you know, like I said, you need the Cole directory, you need the, or some other thing that I don't know about. You need the, you know, you need a speed dialer, I really believe, to do this at a high level. So the first thing you should do is call your market center. You know, a lot of market centers do have the Cole directory. And, you know, if you go into the market center, maybe you have to go into the office to be able to download something. But they, you know, they might have that in your market center. And start, honestly, you know, I mean, that's the best thing that I can tell you. It's the thing that you've harped on me about, for all of these different things. It's definitely something that Vanessa, instills in all of us. It's definitely something that I've seen all of these people that I've been to to these classes for, is that you've kind of, what do you have to lose? You know, I mean, you're going to make some calls. Maybe some people who will yell at you, maybe you'll not know what to say, you know? And again, when I say start, part of what you need to do is come up with a good script, you know, and practice it. But whereas the pay-per-click you've paid for, so there's something about the people that you've paid for, or you've paid for the website, there's something about them that I feel like you really need to be on your game when you call them. You've got to really know what you're talking about. And I'm not saying that you don't have to do that with the circle prospecting, but one of the great things about the circle prospecting is you're calling people out of the blue, and you might never talk to this person ever again. You didn't spend a dime really on getting their number, other than the Cole directory and stuff. There's so many numbers to be had. And, you know, so that's the thing, is that you can really kind of use the circle prospecting as a great tool to give yourself some on-the-job training.
Love it. I love it. All right. So where can we find you? Somebody wants your script. Where are they going to find you?
So you can email me at Kevin Kern, KevinKern, @kw.com.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And I am real quickly going to put up on the screen again for y'all to see. Today's been so fun. We've talked about circle prospecting, and that's an awesome source of lead gen. And there's so much else to learn about inside sales, but really just about converting leads. And this is one way that you can find more. ISAMAPScoaching.com. If you visit there, you can find out more about our program. You can talk to a coach. You can enroll now. Whatever it is you're looking for, we want to connect with you. And also, we are offering free strategy sessions. I believe those are going to be available on the website as well. If not, I'm sure Hannah will give y'all information in the chat box here about that. But we'd love to connect with you, answer even maybe more specific questions about today's topic or something else. So all these resources to find us at, I hope that y'all have found today extremely valuable. Kevin, I've loved having you on. So thank you for being with us. Thank you, Vanessa, for lending him to us and the rest of the team as well. Hopefully y'all have learned a lot, and we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar or being able to connect with you through one of the means we just talked about. All right.
Sign up for MAPS coaching.
Shameless plug. Thanks, Kevin.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much, Analeisa. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.